Hello and welcome everyone to our little demo here of our general. Thanks to everyone who joined. We're out in the pasture here, one of the pastures, with a small corral behind the general, and we're gonna try and catch a few cows here and give you a little preview of the chute. Bit cold today, typical Manitoba. Come on. So that's our first one caught. Just demonstrating our neck extenders there. I've got the bottom squeeze on. You can see how well she's held. Oops, she got away in that one. Release the squeeze. Come on. That one went down. Come on, girl. Oops. Huh. Okay. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Just show you the bottom access doors. Sorry, say that again, Dana. Yeah. So I'll this one I can let this one go using emergency release if you want. Come on, back up. So that's our emergency release. I don't actually recommend doing that because you can develop some bad habits with cattle, but that's just showing that off. But if you come over here, Amy, I can show you a couple of features here. So we put a lot of time and work into trying to get the rancher the best branding access we could. So our side exit is actually an angle and it's wrapped around that tube so that when you shut it, all you lose for branding access is that bar right there. And we got all drop down doors. The reason I went with drop down doors versus swing out doors is because this is such a high use chute, and because I got a better squeeze on it, a V squeeze, I didn't want the other doors bouncing up and down, and I was just not sure if they were durable enough. Also went with 2x2 uprights for a couple of reasons. One is, if one of you want to walk down that alley in a bit, I can show you, but I can somewhat control how the animal sees me by where I position myself in the chute. And the other thing is, I got a very big surface area here, so when you're putting the pressure, putting the squeeze on them, you're not digging into their ribs. So here's we got our neck extenders on the front here. And we've done some work on that. We've governed our speed somewhat, so you got a bit better control. And they're just synced with counterbalance valves with a cartridge style flow divider with counterbalance valves for load holding. So that, because we did have some trouble on the earlier models, the cylinders talking to each other. And we upsized our cylinders here because I've got the cylinders tucked away here. So they're at a mechanical disadvantage because I wanted to keep this access open here, and obviously running a low pressure system. So in order to get enough force for them bigger animals, I upsized the cylinders. And we got machine UHMW blocks here because we all know how cows go down, and that's going to help that cow. Otherwise she'll put her head straight down underneath that bar. The head gates are all suspended from the top. There's nothing on the bottom. It's got big big Delrin slide bushings up there. And here's my connecting point for the head gates. And you can see that it's bolted here, but I'm not relying on the bolt. I got welded dowel pins that are doweled right into the door there. So the only thing that bolt is doing is just keeping it held against that flange. And the other nice thing about this connection, most of our connections can be unbolted and replaced. And we put a lot of time into, we got some pretty massive corner gussets here, and all our posts are slotted, integrated into the frame to help take those forces day after day after day. I can show you the bottom squeeze here, Amy, if you want. So here, we've still got direct push on the bottom. We've got this bar here, and I just call that a torsion bar. That stabilizes the squeeze, because without it, we had too much talking between the cylinders, and in order to sync that perfectly, we would have to go to the next step, and it'd be very, very expensive to do. So, as you can see, I'll show you here, Amy. So years ago, we built a chute called the 2000V, and we connected this cylinder from the base right to that point there. So I could have come down a little bit, but you can see how quickly I would run out of travel if I connected it to the, see, I would run out about travel here. There I would about run out of travel. But I still got that much travel because I'm pushing straight on the squeeze. It's the reason I can get from 31.5 inches down to 8.5 inches, because that's a big task to get it to move that far. The vet cage has drop-down doors too, so that you can, if you want to brake check right from the side, you can. And it's got good clearance for stepping into it for taller vets. And then on the head gate here, Amy, if you want to come in the chute. This is our own rubber extrusion. We got the mold, and this is a fasten on. This is a cushion to help with shoulder bruising, so you can see the flex on that, because it's actually a big problem in the industry. Some of those animals are very high-spirited, and they hit hard enough to develop some pretty good bruises. My emergency side exit, that was one of my biggest worries with this chute, because we wanted an emergency exit, but we knew it had to be very, very stout. So we've actually got it locked in like that. The side exit, it can't drop and it can't rise because of that angle's locked in there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, girl. So it really makes it nice for doing that tent injections, sub-Q injections. Good luck. Come on. Come on, girl. So she's held pretty good there. Yeah.
Can we talk about the sternum bar in the floor?
Yes. So this one here, if you want to come around here. So this one doesn't have a sternum bar in it because this is one of the prototypes, and every prototype we do, we learn something. So we were experimenting around with different floors, and the way we're mounting this sternum bar, we're not going with it. We've changed the style for the next prototype. So, but we will definitely have a sternum bar, and it'll be very, very similar to the sternum bar we have now. Actually, basically the same. So there will be a sternum bar there. No worries about that. Rubber floor? Yeah, so our rubber floor has been very, very popular. So this chute comes standard with the rubber floor. I don't know who's asking the question or how much they know about it. So it has riveted in with huck rivets, stainless steel huck rivets. The pans are put in. There's holes underneath the pan for drainage. Then the mats are laid in. And these mats, after we own the mold for this. This is virgin rubber, very, very high quality rubber. They come out of the mold, and because there's a certain variation in the cooling process in making rubber, it then goes on to the water jet, and all those holes are cut perfectly with the water jet. They go in there, there's no drilling or nothing. The rivets go right in and they're fastened down.
Let's catch one with the A squeeze and show off how we can do flow.
Come on. Come on. Come on. This is a big cow, so I might have to open the squeeze right up. Come on. So I'll just give you a little demo of the different ways you can operate this squeeze. You can use it as a parallel squeeze. V squeeze, or on younger animals, it's sometimes nice to use an A squeeze. I'll try that. I'll try the A squeeze again. Next one's a bit smaller. So now you just push the bottom in like that. There. Yep, absolutely. So like I say, you can use it as a parallel squeeze, or set it like that so that the bottom is not tucked in tight like a V squeeze for a little bit. If you got the great big cows, you're going to need to open it up a bit and just go like that. So just a note to remember, this is 31.5 inches, and the head gate opens up the full width. And our head gates are running geared flow dividers. And the reason we did that is because we tried very hard to get the speed. We've gone over this lots of times before, but with geared flow dividers, there's no pressure drop. Also doesn't create heat, so horsepower in is equal to horsepower out. And I've also got 5/8 return line to get that oil room to breathe, so I can get that speed. Come on. Come on, girl. Come on. Come on. It's a bit tricky running the alley and the chute yourself, but come on. Come on, girl. Oh, I missed that one. I need a guy in the alley, but I only have one helper here with me. Come on. Scales.
Scales, that's how they work with the chute.
Okay, I'll just. Okay, so Amy, if you want to come over here. Amy, if you want to come over here. So we have scale mount brackets fitted on every corner so that the load bars will just bolt in. And our cow's getting anxious in the alley. And then we got these holes right here. You can see them from the front. So we have a wheel kit, but we can install jacks on here that mount on every corner that sync from front to back, so they're individually controlled. The back is controlled separate from the front, but they can be lifted up in parallel within reason, and so that you can lift it up and you can clean the shit out of your chute also. Cold weather, yeah, so that's actually a really good question. So we'll go over to our pump in a minute there. So cold weather is something we're quite familiar with. We're in the interlake, in between the two big natural lakes in Manitoba. One of the coldest climates there is for raising cattle. You feed 7 months out of the year, you graze the other 5. So it wasn't too long into business that we ran smack into this problem. So when you got really cold oil, started tripping the breaker because it takes extra power to run the oil. But if you go over to our pump, we have a valve that you pull the valve up and it circulates the oil just in the tank, and you can let it run and it starts to warm up the oil. But that's a good question. A lot of the bigger, not everybody can do it, but some of the better, more well-run operations, like at our testing plot that we've got access to 6 miles up the road, they actually got the pump, because they work cattle almost every day, whether it's 30 below or not, they actually got it enclosed in a box with a light bulb. But it's something to be, you need to think about it, because that's a really good question. When it's 30 below, it's not a lot of fun.
And somebody asked if you can extend the neck extenders fully with the cow in the chute.
Well, I'll show you how much you can extend them. Now, like I say, this is a, you can see I don't have much extra power left on that cylinder, so I don't think I could hurt an animal. Now, if you're running a little wee small calf, you wanna watch what you're doing. I'll tell you that right now. You want to watch what you're doing at any point. But I've got more extension here than I will ever need. But you've got to, when you get on this, you got a really good feel. And it's just as, I don't stretch that cow's neck any more than I have to. You want her to have a good experience in the chute. So, and as long as, whatever it takes, like you can see, I could have got more extension on most of the animals, but it's not necessary. Come on. You can see I can extend more, but it's just not necessary unless if you're doing implants, that requires a little more head control. But so I can, if you want to come up to the neck extenders, I can show you them in detail. So we've gone through quite a few revisions on these neck extenders, and the final product was we've made them pretty stout. So this is a solid 1.5 inch pin that goes directly through. We used to have a pin that was welded and then dropped down, machined and dropped down to a smaller DOM, but we've beefed this whole entire pin up. Because you got to remember, with these neck extenders, there can be a fair bit of sideways thrust, and this, like I say, this is all bolted on too, so all the components can be replaced. And if you look at these cylinders here, Amy, so I had to beef up the cylinders from the last one, so I didn't have them in stock, but these most of the cylinders on this chute are custom made. They're not, you can't buy them off the shelf. And these ports will be coming off the side and up and through there, so that if an animal gets swinging her head, she's not going to snap that hose. The hose is going to come out the side. Jared, can you bring a couple little calves in here? I'll give you a hand. Actually, you can let them cows out. Let them cows out. We can always bring them back. You letting them out, Jared? Oh, Jared, no, Jared, no, just let these into this pen. Make sure that's chained good. We'll put them. You'll have to follow them right up for me one at a time. So these are mighty small calves to be running through a big chute like this. There's a calf in April, a couple of them here are only a couple of weeks old, but we'll see what we can do. Can you just bring one at a time, Jared? Come on, buddy. So Amy, if you want to come here, come in the back, you can see the squeeze we have. Like I say, that's only about 2 weeks old, that calf. And you don't want to be using neck extenders on a little guy like this. It's just, so we'll just let him. You can tell me, Amy, when I can let him go. So he's a little calf, but that's a good example. You see how he backed up there. So you get guys that are really good on the chute. That's why you leave the squeeze on just momentarily. Open your head gate up momentarily before you open your squeeze, and it just gives that animal just that bit of time to think and realize that she can leave, because once she backs up into the chute, it's that much harder to get her to move forward. So it's a bit bigger calf. I actually got a bit of squeeze on him. Sorry, got on your road. By the General?
Yeah.
Because our 1070 isn't big enough and isn't tough enough to go into these big feedlots. And anybody that, our 1070, I'm very fond of that chute, but I think our salesmen have been pretty well trained, and they're, I like to think they're honest guys. I'm sure they are. 2 of them are my sons. But they're not gonna, if you could say we have a feedlot that's got 20, 25,000 head, and they want to put in the 1070, they're going to say no, don't do it. That's poor selling. Yeah, so we need a chute. I mean, when we started here 18 years ago, there's not much for feedlots at all in this area, and they've a lot less than it used to be because there's no packing plants anymore. So I grew up with cow-calf and had very little knowledge of the abuses that chutes took in the feedlot. So when we first experimented with one and put one into a big feedlot, we just tore that thing right apart. And so over the years, I've learned, and especially it's not the 5, 6, 7 weights that tear up your chute. Not even exactly cows. It's the big fats that go through there with the terminal implants. Those are the animals that just tear up your chutes. They got so much power. If it's not built for it, she's going to just fatigue and start giving out on you. So there was an absolute reason and a necessity for us to go with the General so that we could get into these bigger feedlots, and even some bigger ranchers. They got the money and they want something that's, and you can see like a parallel squeeze, you got good control, but the squeeze and the control in this chute It's very nice. There's just so much body of a chute there. That's what he looks like that. I'll probably just let him back out because I don't want to pinch his legs. Come on, buddy. Emergency, just a slam shut like that. Okay, yeah, Jared will bring up a few more cows here. Come on, Earl. Come on, Earl. She went down, but if I put the V-squeeze on her quicker, she probably wouldn't have. Come on. Come on, Earl. Come on, get up there. Come on. Come on, get up there. If you had a sternum bar, that would help in a situation like that. So that one I caught her a little bit too soon, but you just put the squeeze on, you can open up the head gate, just let her quickly readjust her head, and I caught her. Kuvas. It's a little bit of a trick by yourself. Come on, girl. Come on. Come on. Got to give her like lots of light. These cattle are fairly quiet, sometimes harder to work than spirited cattle. Well, thanks everybody. Had lots of fun out here. Glad you joined. And have a good day.